Hey guys, hope you're doing well. This is Edward. I just wanted to create a quick video while I'm driving a bit and share a little bit more about some of the things that I've done in the past. My goal with the video is to really help you advance in your business or career in general. So I'm gonna try to keep it also more engaging, more personal. Share a lot about some of my experiences I had, and then hopefully this can again help you in your journey. So one of the reasons I wanted to create videos in general, I initially started to create some videos on YouTube about some sales topics and some other things, and it didn't get any specific traction that I wanted, and I wanted to change the business model a little bit as far as this. So the goal is to hopefully build a brand out of the videos and build a big community of individuals that are on the same path. My goal personally is to build a lot of wealth with a lot of other individuals. So I currently work in I would say the sales space, and also the private equity space, and also the real estate space. So because of that, I want to get connected to more people who have access to capital, people who have access to bigger goals, or have also access to people that have bigger goals, because I'd love to be able to build a community around this. So one of the things that I'm going to start mentioning is kind of how I got started, where I'm at today, and like what I'm working on today, so that way you could either resonate with this or get some value from this, or just ask me any questions as well. That's kind of a goal. So yeah, first of all, I was actually born in Moldova, which is a country in Eastern Europe that most people are not aware of. I'm not sure why, but I'm typically in between going back and forth in Romania or Moldova. So you're going to be seeing me in these locations typically right now in 2024. I was born in 1994, so I'm 29 right now, just so you have a bit of context of my age. So I've started to do a lot of business, career, and kind of getting into my first few side jobs or jobs when I was in university. I actually started university in the transportation space. One of the reasons I went into that space was because my father and brother actually had a background in that space, and I went to actually study what they studied in the past to get into business. And the only path back then, when I started to actually look into the job market, when I started in university, was to become a trucking manager, to become a trucking guy that knows all about trucks and takes care of the dispatching, takes care of the trucks, and manages. And that time in my country, the average salary on that was like close to I believe it was like close to $500, something like that, per month. So a lot of you might be in different locations, might be in the US or Canada or UK, or I'm not sure, Dubai or Europe or Western Europe or Eastern Europe. It doesn't matter. Just you're probably aware that $500 a month is not a lot of money to be able to live. And I always felt that me studying and me going through that process is not really going to yield any big returns on my time, and I wasn't sure what to do at that stage. So that was the big issue initially. I was doing quite a lot of other stuff. I was doing like a lot of sports initially, weightlifting, boxing, MMA, and then at the same time while I was doing that, I was trying to find a way to make a lot more income, because where I lived, you couldn't really make much income. You needed to go to get a job. You couldn't really get any substantial income without being probably in politics or corruption and being corrupt in that country. So I started to analyze what is available in the market, and the first opportunity that I came across was an opportunity in the transportation space that was in the aviation airline space, where we were working with the ticketing systems of low-cost carriers. So I started to learn a little bit about numbers and Excel and financial modeling and kind of how to calculate and optimize some of those tickets that were coming through. And I was doing a lot of manual work. I remember I was going to university, then I was coming back home, working going back to the gym for 3 hours, and then going to university for 7 hours, and then working till 3 a.m. at night at that job. So imagine going into that job working maybe 7-8 hours of like a lot of labor as far as manual Excel work or spreadsheet work that I needed to do, and that was paid like, probably I was getting paid like 100 euros a month. So imagine kind of a first job. You're not really able to do much in the current life right now, in the current economy, with 100 euros a month. So that's kind of a first one. I've worked with that opportunity for maybe 2 to 3 months to kind of get used to how this works, get used to the knowledge, get used to the person that I was working for. And I realized I'm going to need to switch gears, and I'm going to need to do something bigger. I actually also worked in a warehouse. The second kind of job that I had is I went from Moldova to UK to London to work in a warehouse, where I completely destroyed my health at that time. Working in that warehouse, I worked in a freezing warehouse for 3 months, and it was pretty difficult. But it was actually the first time I made some money that I could save. I made, like, over the summer I probably made over £5,000, and I saved some of that money to continue some of the endeavors and some of the things I've done. Then I got into the sales world, which is important to understand, because before that I wasn't really understanding marketing, sales. I was just working like a slave, right? So at the end of the day, you need to actually gain some legitimate skill sets to be able to make a lot more money. So that was one of the ways out. I actually got in touch with a startup in the software space in the US time zone, and started to work in sales, selling for a guy. So maybe he's watching the video or not, but I think that he was a big part of my success, because I worked with him very hands-on. His name is Stas. He was the CEO of a company, and we worked very hands-on on a lot of things, as far as getting clients, getting sales, doing marketing, doing growth hacking. And that's kind of where I've built my fundamentals in place, understanding how a business operates, how a startup operates. So software as a service, that's kind of where I start. That's my background. I've done that. And then I actually started to work with another software company that's called Retently. It was a company that was based in Moldova, but was doing sales globally. It was a software that does Net Promoter Score, which is a concept in the customer review space that I was working in sales. Not particularly high wages, but that's kind of how I build my career, is really getting into the trenches and selling things. I was used to work quite a lot of hours, so that's how I also built very good relationships with the founders, and trying to be as tight as I can with the founders. I think that strategy in general, when you get into a business, getting as tight as you can with the founder is going to help you really advance in that role and get in as much money as you want, as much money as you can, really. Not as much money as you want, but those were the two main roles that I kind of built my skill sets on. I was doing a lot of cold calling, a lot of setting, a lot of demos, a lot of presentations, and then I've actually transitioned from those two companies. I was working at those two companies at the same time, almost. And when I transitioned to the next business, it was a guy from Ireland, Paul, and he owned a business in the waste management space. It was a more of an enterprise IT-based business. It was very difficult to sell the actual software because most of the waste management and recycling companies didn't have a clue what we were actually doing. He was one of the most successful guys in the space that were selling that system, and I kind of joined the sales team, and I learned quite a lot from Paul as well. So I started to make a lot more money with Paul eventually. I kind of transitioned to work full-time for him. I gained a lot more of the skills as far as like selling to bigger accounts in general, to bigger companies, like from LinkedIn, building relationships on LinkedIn to people, getting them on calls, and just actually getting into bigger accounts. I remember one of the biggest wins that I had in that company was I got their first accounts in the US, and then I got some big potential partnerships and big software pilots, which software pilot is basically testing the software on a bigger brand, a bigger company. I remember getting a response from a company that had like 2,000 trucks, which at that time the biggest customer we had, I think, had 80 trucks. So that was a win. So that was kind of what happened with that. But then I kind of came across the agency world. The agency world was very interesting for me, and I actually got I tried selling the agency services, which everybody tries, is I tried to do it locally. At that time I was still in my country, where if I tried to sell any Instagram services, if you know about this business model, selling marketing services, or building a marketing agency, because I've tried that, and I tried to sell that service to a lot of businesses locally where I was based, and I couldn't really charge serious money. I couldn't charge more than $500 a month per client, so it wasn't really working. I got a few connections, I done some work for some people, but it wasn't worth the time. And then I actually came across one of the first guys in this space who actually had like a high ticket course. His name is Jordan Schumacher. If he's watching also the video, or anybody that knows him, I actually enrolled. Was one of his first few customers, and I remember purchasing that course. I didn't even have money at that time to purchase the course, and I remember I got on a payment plan. I was paying like $750 a month or something like that for a lot of time, because his course was quite expensive. I think it was $5,000 or something like that. Now, I was able to still make some money from the other things I was doing, and was able to pay for that, to learn the skill sets of how to sell, how to market, and all this. And then the main advice that he gave me was to focus on markets where people have money. So if you're in Eastern Europe, or in your markets that maybe you're not able to make as much money, you should go into markets where customers actually have capital. For me, that was US. So I actually started, and a lot of the sales I've done in the past was also US, so I resonated with what Jordan said. And then I started to sell in US, and I got into the real estate space, the marketing real estate space, and I started to watch a lot of agents. I started to build a big database of real estate agents and reach out to all the agents all across the United States, and I actually got quite a few clients. I also got some other side projects on the side where I was doing advertising for as well, and then I got a few agents. So that's kind of how I started to build and really scale up my income. I got close to, I was in between $5,000 to $10,000 a month at that stage. It was up and down. It wasn't as consistent. And then we noticed that there was a big problem in the marketing space, and it was operations. It was service delivery. I was able to get clients, but I wasn't able to keep clients. And the reason is because the service delivery wasn't as strong, wasn't as performing, right? So we needed to figure out a way how we can still get clients but keep retaining them, which is very difficult. That's the biggest problem in the market. The done-for-you marketing space is broken because you can't keep clients for longer than a year probably, or 2 years, or 6 months, depending how good you are. I was actually keeping some of my clients for 6 months, some of them for 1 year, some of them for 3 months, and that wasn't sustainable. And then actually COVID came in, and I had an opportunity to sell some of those clients to somebody else. I'd done that, and before that, I actually got enrolled into a new opportunity. I started to learn more about private equity and capital and M&A, merger and acquisitions. And I started to work with a guy by the name of Moran. He owns acquisitions.com, and a lot of people will confuse acquisitions.com with Alex Ramosi, which is not him. Moran is a different individual. He's also from Israel, like Alex, but he's a different guy, a different community, a different mission, a different business model in general. So I started to work the last actually 5 years. One of my customers is acquisitions.com, but I'm serving. I'm doing a lot of sales, support, operations for some of their stuff. And then I also currently still work, still consult in a business. I'm doing a marketing audit for a business in Dubai and real estate. They do a lot of artificial intelligence, and they sell real estate investments for investors. So that's what I'm currently doing. Again, income still fluctuates in between that amount, 5,000 to 10,000 a month, depends on what we're doing at that stage. But the goal is to build that up. The goal is to actually get in more consulting clients, is to help them scale their companies, and to also find businesses to acquire. Because that's what we're doing at acquisitions.com. So I'm still doing that right now. So hopefully you can see how this happens. That took everything that I explained. The timeline of this explanation is probably a few minutes, but that going through the journey took 10 years. It's probably more than 10 years until I got to this point. So took a lot of time. I learned quite a lot of stuff in sales and marketing and service delivery, running a business. I didn't have too many employees. The max I had was like 5 people. And now I actually prefer to have more of a lean operation where I work with the founders and I help the founders to scale. So that's my main focus, and hopefully you can get some legitimate insights from this process, how you can actually earn more income and how you can do this. And if you want me to get into a lot more details about each of those opportunities, or what I've done, or what I'm currently kind of looking to do, feel free to comment on the video and things like that. So I'm gonna try to make more videos, but that's pretty much for this video. Thanks for watching.